Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this Thursday weekly live class here inside our Facebook group. Do you like my little beret today? I thought I would just play around in Zoom a little bit. Let me know if you can see me and hear me okay. We've got 20 minutes of training coming up, and so this is the live training I said I was going to put into the calendar and stick with every Thursday, 1 o'clock for 20 minutes or so. Here we are. Do you like my little beret? I figured they cut out the music that I play, so I can't have that on there. So I thought I'd try this time. Don't you just love Zoom filters? They're pretty cool, aren't they? I showed up into a meeting last week and it was our networking group meeting. It wasn't last week, week before. Anyway, I had the beret happening and yeah, they thought it was actually real on my head. So that was really cool. So I did this little, this little thingy with this floating beret. What do you reckon about that? Hey, anyway. Anyway, let me know if you can see me. Say hi, that you can see me and hear me. Okay, I've got my comments going down on my phone just down here, which is why I'm looking down there. So today we're going to talk about the 4 pillars, and these are the pillars that underline everything that you do, your daily actions. So I was talking with another client this morning, and she was saying that someone she knows has recently done a leadership, a master's, I think, or diploma. And thanks, Raywin. And she said it's all well and great, but she's struggling to implement it. And that it frustrates me so much because I know that feeling, which is why everything we do is about taking a little bit of information and then going and implementing it. It's why I'm here talking to you. It's why we have the group here. Inside the academy, we have 2 coaching sessions every month for that implementation. You take an idea, go and run with it inside your workplace, and then come back and talk to us about, what's happening, how it's going, what worked, what didn't work, how can we work on this, and really embed the learning, because otherwise nothing will change. You can learn everything that you want out there, but unless you do something with it as you're learning it to embed it, you're going to forget about it. Isn't there that thing that says we only take in about 10% of what we hear when we go to a workshop or, a conference or something like that. So, so these 4 pillars are the things that you will be doing every day. You're working on them every day. And so what I'm trying to do is chunk this journey down for you. So going from invisible to influential. I've spoken about the 5 steps along the way. And then I've spoken about those 3 core foundational areas that I shared inside the web class that we did. And, those were creating a vision, developing your skill sets, and building your networks. But then let's go deeper down into that. What does that look like for our day, for our month, and so on? And these 4 pillars are the things that will help you every single day to make sure that you're keeping on track. If you do these things and if you work on these 4 things, you will start to grow all of that. You will start to create your vision. You will develop your skills. You will build better relationships. You will start to grow through that journey, that 5 steps. So I'm just going to share my screen and I'm just going to show you what that is. So let's just make sure. I need to share the screen. There we go. All right. So hopefully by now, what you should see is the a little quadrant. Yep, I can see it on my phone as well. Let me know if you guys can see that okay, those of you watching live. So these 4 pillars are trust, credibility, capability, and rapport. These are the things that you really need to be working on day in, day out. Every time you talk with someone, every time you go into a meeting, every time you want to present something, every time you're communicating with someone, you need to be ticking off at least one of these boxes in here. So let's go through them. So trust, you've heard me talk about the 4 C's of trust already. I'm going to recap on that in our time here today. These 4 core areas are communication. And this is, will you communicate all that I need to know? Can I trust you to communicate that with me? And can I trust you to give me feedback? Can you give somebody feedback, and do you trust them to give you the feedback as well? Because this goes both ways, this trust. Okay, so will you trust your team to communicate with you, and can they trust you to communicate with them? The next C is character. So this is all about you as a person. So do you do what you say you will? Do you follow through? Okay, can you keep those agreements? Can you trust somebody else to do the same thing as well? See, this builds on the whole purpose of being able to influence and build relationships with other people. Both of these need to go backwards and forwards. Okay, so you need to be able to trust the other person that you're talking with as well. And we look at a trusting capability. And this is basically, can I trust that you know what you're doing? So can your team trust you? And can you trust your team? Can your team trust each other? And that's one of the biggest team conflicts, is that people don't have the trust in each other's skill sets and the trust in the capability to actually get the job done. So what they quite often do is, I can't trust that person, so I just do it myself. And then I'm getting really overworked and frustrated and burnt out because I'm doing my work as well as somebody else's, and I'm going to come and complain to you about it. And the reason is because they don't trust the other person. They don't trust their skills. They don't trust that they're capable to do that. So this goes for your manager as well. Can you trust your manager in their capability, that they know what they're doing, and that you have the skills to lead, they have the skills to lead? And then we also want to look at the trust of care. And this basically is summed up in one sentence is, can I trust that you will care for me as a person? So we want your team members to be trusting each other like this. You want to be able to trust your team members that they're going to care about you as a person, and they want to trust you that you're going to care about them as a person as well. So this is how we break down the trust, and that's just one of the pillars. So if there's an area in there that you feel probably is subpar, then that's your focus. I want you to find out how you can start to develop the trust in one of those areas. Make sure you write that down as one of your action points. And so the next in the pillars is our capability. And I mentioned a little bit about that in that trust area, trust model, sorry. And here are some of the basic questions that we're looking at when we're talking about capability. Are you capable to lead? Do you have the skills required? Now, this required means to either lead, to execute, to hold someone else accountable. It really is a focus of, you need to make sure that you develop it. If you want other people to look at you as a source of influence, then they're going to be looking at this and going, are you capable to lead? Do you have the skills, the leadership, the management skills, the actual doing of the skills? Can you do your job? And I've spoken about this before in terms of street cred. You need to be able to get the results and get the outcomes. And can you help others to do their jobs? Because this is a big part of stepping outside of just us and then growing into the leader, which is then everybody else around us as well. So that's the second pillar. So we've got trust is one, you need to be working on building your trust with everybody, and especially the people that you want to influence. And so if you're in that invisible and achieve section, this is about developing that influence within your own team. So your own direct manager, your own team, your own department, peers, anywhere in that area. When we move into the growth and transform, then we're really looking at influencing bigger stakeholders and wider stakeholders and a more of a range. So that's the trust that you need to focus on. Our capability. Do you have the capability to lead, to manage, to do the job, to help others do their job? If you don't in there, then write that down as an action point. That's one of the things you're going to need to work on. Our third pillar is credibility. So this is when I spoke about your street cred. Now, you could have all of those capable skills. You can be extremely capable, but are you showing it? And this is where our value exchange comes in. You know how in our group here on a Friday, every couple of weeks, I ask you to celebrate your wins and to toot your own horn and to get up and say what you're really good at. And the thing is that if you don't start to talk about your accomplishments, people aren't going to know. And so we sit back thinking, oh, how can they not see that I am capable here? Because, I've done this, this, and this. Well, do they actually know that you're capable? Do they know that you've accomplished that? Make sure that you are verbalizing that, you're communicating what have you accomplished. And if you haven't yet, then this is the first thing that you need to do. You need to start getting those results, getting outcomes. Do others trust you in terms of your credibility? So this comes down under the capability and the character as well. So all of those trust areas, can they trust you in here? And what other forms of credibility can you bring in? So I talk about results and outcomes, but what else have you done? So it could be something that you've done in the community that you're also going to bring in. It could be something that you've studied. It could be something that a project that you've led. Any of these types of things, if you don't talk about them, then how are people supposed to know, especially if they're outside? So if you haven't tooted your own horn enough, then this is the area that you're going to need to work on and start talking and communicating your own credibility. And then the last of these is rapport. So I've just got a little dictionary or Google, same, aren't they these days? Thing around what is rapport. And I really like this one. And it says it's a close and harmonious relationship in which the people or groups concerned understand each other's feelings or ideas and communicate well. So you can see when we break that down, it is, a close and harmonious relationship. So the people or groups concerned. So it could just be one or two people, or it could be your entire team. And the fact is we need to understand each other's feelings and ideas, and we're able to communicate that with each other well. So this is what rapport is. So if you haven't been able to do that with someone that you want to develop influence with, then this is where you need to start. Do you make time to get to know me? Do you make time to get to know your team, your manager, the other people that you are trying to influence? If you don't get to know them as a person, they're not going to want to listen to anything that you've actually got to say, because they still don't know if they can trust you to care about them as a person. If you're not going to take the time to listen to them, how can they trust you? Are you going to listen to what I have to say? Do you spend time with others? And are you going to go out of your way to talk and communicate with me? So this is where I've written these from the perspective of a person. So I could be talking to my manager about this. This might be what I want from my manager. This might be what my team members want from me. So again, it all goes both ways. And we really need to remember that if you are not doing some of these in here, then this is the area that you need to focus on. So that is those 4 pillars that we spoke about. Let me just go back through those. I should have put that one afterwards, shouldn't I? So I can show you these 4 pillars again: trust, credibility, capability, and rapport. Let me know in the comments which one of those that you feel that you need to work on. So those of you watching live, and also those of you watching the replay, pop it in there and let me know what you've done really well, and what of those areas do you need to work on. Now, we went through trust first because that is ultimately, that is the foundation. And I've spoken about this before. If you don't have trust, then none of the other stuff is going to matter. But we can't just click our fingers and go, yes, we've got trust. Then we break it down into those 4 areas. So it's going to stop sharing that with you now. So let me know in the comments, type in there where you find that these 4 pillars are going to be most useful for you as well. I'd love to know from you. So that's what I've got to share for our training on this Thursday. Please make sure that you are commenting and interacting. I know some of you can't make these live, but they hear and they stay in the group for you. And I am here to help you to be able to go from that invisible to influential journey as much as I possibly can. So thanks so much for joining me. I look forward to continuing the conversation in our chat. And next time I might show up with something different than my little red beret. And I will chat to you next week. Have an amazing week, everybody. Go and sprinkle your beautiful goodness out to the world so everybody can get a little piece of you. Thanks for being here. Bye.